Okay guys, welcome back. Brother Kimo here with Reload Hawaii. As you can see, I'm hanging out at the World War II Valor in the Pacific National Monument, previously known as the USS Arizona Memorial. We're going to be talking about that red circle on the left-hand side because it is absolutely free to go to this park. It is part of some other parks. I think there's 3 other parts to it, but they're not free. They give out 1,300 walk-in tickets. So if you want to make sure that you get yours, go there early, especially right around this time when there's Christmas break or summer break, something like that. You'll see me describing things here with text sliding in and out. These are all exhibits that you can see for free. The ones you have to pay for are the USS Bowfin, the USS Missouri, and the PAM, the Pacific Aviation Museum. But just going there to check out stuff, it's absolutely free. The memorial, you can get on there for free. Only problem that I had was you can't take any type of bags in there. Okay, so they got baggage claims and checks for you there, but you got to watch what you take, especially if you have a lot of camera equipment. There's a good shot of the modifications there that the Japanese did to their torpedoes. You know, we didn't think that a Japanese attack was going to be successful. The harbor was too shallow for submarine attacks. Our radars were supposed to protect us from air and ship invasion. And we didn't think they would travel 4,100 miles. And even if they did, what they had probably wasn't going to be enough to do much damage. But oh, were we wrong. There's a conning tower from one of the submarines there. They came with 6 aircraft carriers, like 2 battleships, 9 destroyers, a partridge in a pear tree. They came at us big, man. They brought a lot of stuff with us. And they did it all in silence. You know, they used flashing lights and flag signals to communicate until the very last moment. And 2 waves came, right? December 7th, right around 7:55, 8 o'clock. The first wave came, about 183 planes came around the northwest corner. They hit Hickam Air Force Base and then Pearl Harbor, and then 30 minutes later they came around the northeast side, took out Wheeler Air Force Base, and they did more damage to Pearl Harbor. But the first strike, they got Battleship Row. They took out all of our battleships in like 2 minutes. Attack in general was over in 2 hours. You know, we did some pretty bad things wrong. The first big thing is underestimating Japan. Of course, they wanted to be a superpower in Asia, and they couldn't have that around if we were there. So that was their goal, was to get us out of the picture. And they had signed an alliance with Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy. So we should have been more up on our toes there. But, you know, like, we got it. We did not have it. There's a Pearl Harbor survivor in the foreground there. A lot of those guys walking around the day I went there. But, you know, one of the big things we did wrong were the airplanes, and General Short out there, who was in command of the army that was in charge of keeping the Air Force safe, was more suspicious of the local Japanese population committing sabotage. So what he did was he had 3 different levels. Level 1 was keeping the planes bunched up wingtip to wingtip with no ammunition, not ready to fight. In case of sabotage, it was easier to guard them. I think level 2 was like airstrike, and level 3 was like sea strike or something like that. But I can just imagine the Japanese pilots coming over from the northeast and the northwest and looking to see all these neatly organized fighter airplanes and just, wow, 1 bomb, I can take out like 10. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And that's the Akagi, one of the big aircraft carriers, one of 6. We did get lucky though. You know, in Pearl Harbor, all our ships were kind of bunched together. Our airplanes were bunched together. So, I mean, they did a really good job. They took down the airplanes so that their airplanes could, you know, do their business. They would have no resistance. But, you know, when you look at it, that was kind of just the potatoes. The meat for our fleet and Navy in the Pacific, we had 3 aircraft carriers. The Saratoga was out getting its airplanes from California, and the Lexington and the Enterprise were in Wake Island and Midway, so they were gone. And then they didn't strike our submarine base, which was lucky because that's where a lot of our oil was at. So we lucked out there. Unfortunately, you know, out of the 100 vessels there in Pearl Harbor, it was easy for them to pick up the big ones, especially the Arizona, which was the only one that was just wrecked beyond belief, and we couldn't salvage her. And we're lucky our submarine stayed in the game. The Narwhal, the Dolphin, the Cachalot, and the Tautog, which the Tautog was just a dagger. We'll talk about that more when we get to the USS Bowfin. 23-minute video here, and then you'll hop on that boat and just kind of bring it across. That is the USS Stennis. It is a gigantic U.S. aircraft carrier. Right to the right of it, you see, I don't know if you can see it, it's so far away. That little tiny boat right there, that is a USS Missouri. We're going to go on that. And that gleaming slab of white beautifulness is the USS Memorial there. And to the right of it, scary golf ball. I call it scary because it's a weather probe that the guys at NOAA use. And then that is the Clary Bridge connecting Ford Island to the rest of Oahu. But just have a look at this. You know, I'm going to pan around so you can see the harbor itself and just imagine it. I'm going to have some shots in here of what the harbor looked like during the attack. And if you can imagine this area just in shambles. I mean, oil spilt out on the water burning, guys trying to swim in that water burning. The guys that tried to recover the bodies from the USS Arizona just said they saw charred remains of guys just burnt to a crisp. Boat ride's like 5 minutes, it's pretty short. Of the 1,511 sailors and Marines, officers on the USS Arizona, 335 survived. That leaves 1,177 still buried there, forever on duty. 229 of the dead bodies were recovered, and some of them are at the Punch Bowl Cemetery, as we'll see in part 2. If you could imagine this, that big ship right in the front end got struck by a 2,000-pound bomb right in the front magazine, igniting 1 million pounds of gunpowder. Most importantly, this. There we go into the USS Arizona Memorial. Keep your voices low if you have to say something. If you want to say anything at all, just be respectful. This place is absolutely beautiful, open air design. She took on 1.5 million gallons of oil. 500 gallons of it is still under there, leaking about 9 quarts a day, roughly that amount. There's gun turret number 3 that pokes out of the water. And here's a good shot of that oil. 9 quarts of oil leaking out of it per day. That's just about how much your car takes, between 5 and 8 quarts, if you wonder how much that is. She's about 608 feet long, 97 feet wide. And there is the wall with all of the names of the sailors and Marines that died that day. You can see on the bottom right, there's a trash bag taped off. From what I understand, 2 more gentlemen are being brought home to have their ashes laid with their brothers. Well, when I got back to land, the visitor center, that's pretty much what I saw there. And then I figured, okay, I got some survivors here. Look at this, a whole bunch of them. World War II veterans alongside Pearl Harbor survivors, just having a good time, hanging out with each other. Well, guys, that's the ending of this video. Part 1. Part 2, we're going to be going to the USS Missouri, the USS Bowfin, and I'm going to bring you guys something a little personal from my family history. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you liked it, and I'll see you in part 2.